All right, guys. Look, I need some water to start. You guys ready to order, or do you guys need more time?
Nah, we're good.
All right, so what can I get you guys?
Bottomless mimosas.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are here this week with our second installment of our Have You Heard edition of our podcast. And this week we're actually here with the Lehigh Valley Conference of Churches. This is Abby, and we are here discussing basically the afternoon of advocacy.
It's a week of hunger and homelessness awareness.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I'm glad you could explain it.
That's what we have here to correct this.
That's what we have here. But we are here to basically, discuss it and see, and give the information out to people who might not have known, because I personally did not know this was here.
Yeah, and I live, 2 minutes from here, and I have no clue. I drove past this church plenty of times, but I had no idea this program was here, though.
Yeah, so basically, we're here. Yeah, we're here to get as much information as possible for ourselves and for everybody else that's watching. So, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yes,
by
of
the
course.
way,
Thank you.
coming down here. I so appreciate that. My name's Abigail Goldfarb. I'm the executive director here at the Conference of Churches. I've been here about 13 years or so.
Okay.
And we're here for people who are living in poverty, and we're here to sort of walk next to them and help them overcome those barriers.
Okay. And you said 13 years. Where how did you get into basically this line of work?
Wow. So you ever hear that thing like it's a calling? Mm-hmm. You think, I don't know, that person.
Yeah.
It's the type of thing. It's like it found me. Yeah. I had, I'm from Pennsylvania, left for a while, came back to Pennsylvania, sort of stumbled across the conferences like this part-time job, and I just grew on me. But I've always done this type of work. I went to school for psychology, and when I was in grad school, it was a lot of post 9/11 community organizing and sort of rejoining and building communities. And even when I came back to Pennsylvania, it was the same sort of stuff. So I've been probably doing this 20 years or so.
Oh, okay.
Calling, right?
Yeah, definitely calling. Is there I know over like nurses that I know, there's something that happened in their life that kind of drove them there. Mm-hmm. Is there anything in your life that kind of drove you to this kind of
and it's absolutely
if you could speak
true
about it?
Yeah, sure. It's that little bit of kismet, and you never see it till it's in your rearview mirror. It's like you're driven to do something, and then one day it clicks. Of course, but nationally, the highest you're at most risk of homelessness when you're an infant. Mm. That's the statistic, and that was my story. So my parents were sort of living off the grid, living with a group of people. My mom got pregnant, had me. And, there's sort of squatters in this abandoned house, and the rest of the house was like, this whole infant thing isn't really working for us. You guys, it's a little bit of a different vibe. You guys kind of got to go. And that's it. They moved into a homeless encampment, and they lived with me in a tent. I was about 6 months old, and it got cold. So my dad knew somebody who knew somebody, and said, look, there's this church that helps people in a situation like yours, and got to go check it out. And I guess they did, too little to remember all that. They came across this church, and they were welcomed. And one of the women who attended that church had a summer home, I guess, in the area that they rented to my parents till they got back on their feet. Mm. They helped them find jobs. Wow. And I can remember, and it stuck, right? My parents started going to church, and that just became a huge part of their life. And I can remember being a toddler running up and down the stairs. I can remember my earliest memories are in that church. And, growing up wasn't easy. It's not like they said, here's your house, guys, good luck. There were struggles for my parents. And then, of course, my sister and I subsequently. And so I grew up really feeling like I wanted to be the person that I needed in that moment. Mm. And that's shown itself in a variety of ways over the years. But, boy, I feel it here heavy every day. Who goes from homelessness being corrected by a church to literally sitting in the corner of a giant church who helps homeless people get a house? It kind of feels full circle.
It does. Yeah.
Beautiful.
It all comes back. Do you guys deal with a lot of infants coming in this?
We don't see a lot of
or families dealing with that.
Yeah, there's a lot of families that come. Yeah. There's a lot of families that come. usually looking for sort of I'm being evicted or I got this notice or I'm behind in my rent. I mean, you know, people who are working but just don't have enough to make ends meet. A lot of those things.
Okay. And for the Lehigh Valley Church Conference of Churches, do you guys is this like the only church, or is there multiple different
that's a good
churches
question.
that are
yeah, so we're kind of the only church. The whole conference piece of it is we rely on other communities of faith to back us up and partner with us. So whatever that means, and that means something different for each one of them. You know, are they going to come and volunteer? Are they going to bring food? Do they have a family in their congregation who needs our assistance and they want our help in assisting them?
Okay.
It goes in different ways.
Okay. So with the providing the food, do you how often like can people come, for a meal?
They can come Monday through Friday for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Oh.
Yep, 8, 12, and 4.
Oh,
That's amazing. That's good.
Yesterday we served 104 for breakfast.
And is there for anybody that needs this kind of assistance, is there do you have to contact somebody, or can you just walk through the door?
You walk right in, no questions asked.
Okay.
No questions asked. This morning they had an omelet with ham and cheese, hash browns, and a pastry. I mean, it's not cold cereal and oatmeal. That's not what we're doing.
Yeah. In that situation, I'm sure it becomes harder to be picky. I'll take that meal.
Right. You're right. But we really here strive to, you shouldn't come here because you have to come here.
Yeah.
You should come here because you want to.
You want to come.
Yeah.
Because this is helpful to you, because it fills your belly, it fills your soul, it fills that cup, to get you through the rest of the day.
Yeah.
I like that. And for the opposite side of it, for the people that volunteer, how do you go about that? If let's say somebody's watching right now and they're like, you know what, that sounds like something I wanna help with. What means do they go through to volunteer to come and
so they can
serve
go
food or anything?
They can go to the website, which is lehighchurches.org. They can call the office and ask for Chris Moran. One of my favorite humans, and he will. That's true. And he'll get you set right up.
Okay, all right, that's perfect. And so how long has this the Conference of Churches been in the Allentown area?
1954 we started.
Oh,
1954, and it happened back in the 50s. Sort of the demographic of Allentown, the social structure was changing a little bit, and back then, and even now, people who are in need of assistance, they'll go to church.
Yeah,
a place that's supposed to not judge you, a place that's supposed to be helpful and inviting, and they'll say, hey, I need help. And 6 pastors said, wow, you guys seeing more people knocking on your door, right? And they all said, yeah. And they said, I think we could do a better job together than apart. And that's what they did. They started sharing resources and building a system. And they've done different things over the years, but these days, we really cater to the people who have fallen through the safety net. I'm talking about people whose income is either nothing at all or less than $15,000 for the whole year. I'm talking about people who
we're really struggling.
Don't have much. And we have a street outreach team that goes to visit people who are living unsheltered, in encampments, under the bridges. We have a meal service.
For that, do you guys have a team that goes out?
Yeah,
for
there's
that?
a team. Yep, they strap up their backpacks, put on their boots, and fill their bags with what people outside see as necessities. Any guesses what that might be?
Toiletries.
Toiletries is a big one.
The blanket, warmth, hats, clothes. I don't know. Coats, yeah.
Definitely.
Batteries.
Flashlights.
Lanterns. Batteries.
Makes a lot more sense.
And coffee, believe it or not. That must just be universal. Everybody
needs
coffee.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Batteries is probably the last thing that was.
At all.
Yeah.
Wow.
Socks and batteries. Huge.
Oh, well, socks, I definitely.
Yeah, socks. Understand. Yeah, makes sense to you, right?
Yeah. Is there certain criteria when it comes to who you guys choose your helping? You know what I mean? All right, maybe this is way too far. We can't do nothing about this, or.
In terms of outreach, no. I mean, we go out and we try to convince them to come in.
Yeah.
We have services here. We have a day shelter so they can come, they can get a meal, put their valuables in a locker, take a shower, get clean clothes, talk to somebody. Just sit on a comfortable couch and rest your eyes in a safe place for a minute, charge your phone, search for a job, use the computers. And we have staff just here all day. And if you come by, you'll see staff like playing pool or like playing foosball, but that's to build trust. That's to make you feel relaxed. Definitely. We're not shoving anything down anybody's throat. You know, here because you want to be here, right? So we try to set up a situation where they
just be safe. Yeah.
It is a little, we offer rental assistance too for people. So if you're behind on your rent or you're looking for a new apartment or you just don't have enough to make ends meet, it's hard sometimes because they have to be set up in a situation that's sustainable.
Yeah.
So like if you came today and I said, all right, well, what's your monthly income? And you said $500. And I said, what's your rent? And you said $700. Right. I could pay your rent this month, but you'll be back next month.
Asking the same thing, yeah. So you're not really setting them up a system for them to better themselves with that, yeah. Okay,
makes sense. So for the outreach, I know there's some hospitals they also do that.
They
do you guys work with them?
Definitely.
Okay.
Absolutely, definitely. Which is probably why we don't see a lot of infants. Thank God.
Yeah,
we do. And we're in great communication with them. You know, if they are looking for somebody they haven't seen in a while, we'll say, hey, have you seen Joe? Or, you know, or if we find a new encampment that somebody could benefit from street medicine, we'll say, hey, you should check out the place at, you know, XYZ.
Do you feel like you need those networking systems, like, you know, the churches and stuff like that to really make an impact?
Definitely. There, I would say best guess, and it's hard to count because homelessness can be kind of invisible. I'd say there's probably about 200 chronically homeless people. I mean, that means people who live outside for like the last year or so, like very hardcore situations. Probably 200 of those folks. Yeah. But in terms of people who are unstably housed, we would call that, like people who any minute could be on the street. I'm talking about people doubled up. I'm talking about people who are living in apartments that failed code. Thousands of people.
Yeah. And that's just talking about like this area that you're speaking of?
I would say the Lehigh Valley Collective.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
One little
thing happens
bump.
And it's basically.
You know what the biggest bump usually is?
What?
A medical bill.
Oh yeah. I don't know how true this is. I read that if you have a medical bill and you can actually call the hospital, try to work something out with them depending on how much you make.
Right.
And they will maybe bump off a few. Okay. And that's true?
That is true.
Oh, see, it's good too.
You should do that. I encourage you.
A lot of people don't really know that, so that's a little something I
didn't know that. Just give me new information.
Yeah, no, that's what happens. Somebody in the household gets sick.
Yeah.
And they lose work, and so they have medical bills and a break in their income, and collectively those two things.
And at work, we're encouraged to get a long-term disability, just in case something like that does happen. Because we all automatically have short-term, but that covers, I think, like 30%. Right. If you get the long-term, it covers about 60%. So you could still kind of live off that for a couple of months if you happen to be out injured or anything like that. But yeah, so what other things do you guys provide? You know, you have the housing, the outreach, and you have the catering for the food.
The food, right? Let's see. We have case management, and what does that really mean? That means like we sort of walk alongside with you and help you sort of plan out some goals, and get you straightened out. So whether if you've been unstably or housed for a while, or I don't know, you have a bunch of things in your life, you can kind of say, all right, well, let's work together, get some of those things straightened out. Day shelter, like I said, you can hang out here all day, just kind of work on some things, or not. We have mental health case managers. So if you have a serious and persistent mental illness and you're trying to sort of recover and get your life back on track, we have some case managers that can help you through that portion. And then the community, this is my favorite part for the community. We just have this whole menu of random support systems, random support services that people really need. So we give away anything that food stamps won't cover. Toiletries, diapers.
Wow, that's amazing.
Bus tickets, if you need to get to the doctor or you're starting a new job. We have a landlord engagement coordinator, which is a really long term to say
they'll call
that.
your landlord for you?
Call your landlord.
I was going to ask you, what is that exactly?
You'll call your landlord for you and try to work something out. Or if you say, look, I need to find a new apartment, but I just don't have anything I can afford, she will help you find a new place, because we have these relationships with landlords. And, for people who are poor, it's just this insurmountable mountain, right? Like, well, you need to make 3 times the income and a credit score over 700, and I needed to see 4 months of pay stubs, and, you can't ever have an eviction history. You can have no criminal record. I mean, it's like easier to get a mortgage, I swear.
It already is.
So, and so, we can call and vouch for people. Be like, all right, look, Joe got out of jail a little bit ago. All right, but he's on the straight and narrow. He's employed.
Yeah.
We're going to incentivize. If you rent for him, we'll give you an extra month of security and $1,000 for your trouble.
Oh, wow.
And the landlord will say, "Yes, I will do that." And so if you put a good tenant in there, and they like that too, because they can call and say, "Look, Joe's not doing so hot.
Yeah.
Come over here and do something
Somebody
about
needs
it
to
before this
come
is a
in."
problem."
Okay.
It gets real good when it works. That the landlord will call and say, "Hey, I have an opening in a month. If you have anybody, let me know." That's so
Yeah,
helpful.
because you're building that
The rapport.
exactly.
So I'm real proud of that. So that helps people a lot. We have, and also in a similar situation for employment. So some soft job skills, resume writing, making sure you have the right outfit, for interviews.
So you guys supply the outfit? Like you
When we can.
When you can.
When we can.
How important is that? Like from the people coming from jail, trying to help them into new places to live, new job. Because I know personal people that it's so hard for them to get a job. You know what I mean? And I think people need to know they can come to things like this.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Help them out.
Absolutely. And they should come, curb their bills in the meantime. Hang out here during the day, charge your phone here, eat here, make those relationships, make those partnerships. And we can help them work on some of those goals. And by the way, all of this is free. Like we don't, we don't charge anything for any of the things I talked about. All this is just free.
And for people watching, it's like, oh, it sounds amazing. I want to donate. How would they go about donating?
Same as if they want to volunteer, they can go online and hit the online donation button. They can call Christopher Moran, my favorite human, and or they can mail a check to 457 West Allen Street.
Okay, perfect.
In Allentown.
Perfect. And so with all the things that you guys do to help, can we go one by one? I want to see what's like the toughest thing that you have to deal with when it comes to each. So like let's say the meals.
Okay.
When it comes to the meals, what is the toughest thing that you guys have to overcome for those, like when people come in? Do you let's say maybe run out of food, too many people, or anything like that? Like just getting the supplies for the food?
Yeah, I would say that's definitely the case. So we work with Second Harvest to get some food orders, but we also really rely on restaurants, grocery stores, and sort of big box stores when it's time to replenish their inventory and take that old stuff off the shelf. We'll go pick it up. So you never really know what you're going to have.
Okay.
And, please remember, too, a year ago, I don't know, whatever year we're in fiscally. So the prior year, we served just under 35,000 meals for the year. This past year, we served 50,000.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And now we're on track
Yeah.
to probably hit 60 or 70.
Yeah.
And so, we had to kind of redo the whole infrastructure on how do you pull that off.
Yeah.
So it's like more volunteers, more donations, bigger kitchen. We need another oven, that sort of thing. So just keeping up with the need, I think.
Okay, with the demand. Okay. And so when it comes to the housing, like putting people in housing, what's like the toughest part of something like that?
Gosh. The toughest part is there's no inventory.
Okay.
So the Lehigh Valley Planning Commission estimates that in the Lehigh Valley, for people who make less than $25,000 a year, we are 14,000 apartments short.
14,000.
14,000 units
For what was the number? 25,000
or
a year?
less. It's just people
ridiculous.
who are making $10 an hour.
Yeah.
Those are your daycare workers, your nurses' aides, your secretaries. Those are important people. Groceries. They're all those essential workers in 2020 that we worshipped.
Yeah.
We don't pay them enough to live.
Well,
That
I don't
doesn't
mean to
make
depress you. I
no,
know.
that
that doesn't make sense to me.
Wow, Wow.
It doesn't.
Okay.
So what the toughest part of that is there is no inventory for apartments between $600 and $1,000 a month.
Yeah, because everything has increased. Yeah, you're right.
It did.
And that's what we need. We need more of those units.
And then has there been any talks with like, the city to try and bring in, or the valley to try
I was going to ask that. Like, what is the
build, like
when you hear that they tell you that information. So what is the next step that you tell somebody that's looking for that?
how's that something like that able to be overcome? If it's
if we're able to,
I want to answer that so honestly.
but you can't.
we'll talk off air.
Oh, yeah.
I can tell you that the information is out there.
Okay.
I can tell you that it's well known.
Gotcha.
It has to be made a priority. It just has to be made a priority.
Makes sense. I don't understand.
And so that there's a lot of talk too about, do we need a year-round shelter? It's going to turn into a parking lot, because if you go into the shelter, that's a great first step.
Yeah.
I encourage people to do that, but to go where?
Yeah. Because I like, so usually when I hear, you correct me if I'm wrong, when I hear shelter, it's just a place for them to stay, but there's no action to get them out of that.
And even if there's support services
Do you know what I
there,
mean?
there still has to be a home.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so there's never those other steps. Like, all right, we got you in the shelter, so what are we gonna do now?
Right.
Kind of thing.
Right. Well, it's like, let's
now
tie
hit
you up
it.
with benefits, or let's get you a job, or let's get you into treatment for whatever your barriers are, and all that's great. But then what?
True.
Then what? There has to be an investment in this. Allentown has built a lot of beautiful buildings, not Allentown city of, but in Allentown there are a lot of new constructions, and the average studio apartment $1,600.
Yeah, I know.
I know
They just raised my. I live in Bethlehem, and they just raised my rent.
Yeah.
$300. So
Oof.
yeah, it just in a
And
short
there's
run.
no protection against that.
No, actually, it's crazy you say that, because I thought there was protection against that. Because
You were very adamant at one point telling me
yeah,
that.
I was like, they can't raise it more than, and no, the new management bought it, and they just right away, first month they were like, hey, $300.
We see a lot of those situations here.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing
Yeah.
to
So is that,
stop it.
not to cut you off, is that bothersome? Like, you see these new buildings getting put up everywhere. That's $1,600 for a studio apartment. It's not even one bedroom.
Right.
But then you have, people coming in here and they can't even find, simple $700 apartment.
Right.
Like, is that, sure it bothers you to a point? Like, this is where our resources are going, but we have all these people going through
Right.
this, that, and the third.
Yeah. It frustrates me sort of endlessly. And when I inquire as to, well, how do you see that working? Like, how do you not see mass displacement? Like,
Yes.
how do I not start breathing the word gentrification? And
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean to get myself, controversial here, but how do you just turn your blind eye to that?
Yeah.
You have to see it.
True.
And I don't believe anybody who says they don't see it. No, you're lying to yourself.
Yeah, and I'm actually glad you brought that up. Again, I didn't mean to cut you off, but this is perfect for that, because you can go on 7th Street, Hamilton. You see
the clear line.
you see it
Yes, you do.
clear as day. That big, beautiful building
across the street.
right across the street. It's like we're still a little in old Allentown.
Yeah.
Clear as day. So if you can't see it, you're just being delusional.
You don't want to see it.
Yeah.
You don't want to see it. And so I guess the economic principle is, well, if you build higher end apartments, people who can afford them will open up those mid-level apartments, and then those people will so everybody gets pushed up. But then I think the flaw in that logic is you're expecting everybody to live outside of their means.
Yeah. And that's
True.
That's what you're expecting.
That's a good point.
I could afford $1,600,
do
but
I
I have
want
a
to?
really lovely $1,100 apartment. Why would I move?
Yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah.
To make it harder for myself. Yeah. Why would I do that?
That's the expectation is capitalism would command that you do better and spend more and spend more.
Yeah.
I mean, America's built on living outside of your means.
It is though.
And
Sure.
it slows the system in this traffic jam thing if not everybody follows that logic. Punishment for being smart.
That's true.
Very true. Very true.
And so for the outreach, what is the what is the most difficult thing for when it comes to that?
So I've gone out a few times. I think that keeps me grounded. And when we have to make decisions about policy and what we do, there is nothing more refreshing than standing in it. And so I go.
Yeah.
The hardest thing for that outreach team is the guys who don't want to come in He's afraid that the next time they see them, they will not be with us. That they're going to die out.
Yeah.
And they will come back, I don't want to say hysterical, but really impassioned about, we got to get him out of there. He's going to die out there.
Yeah.
And we have people who all summer have been sleeping on the front of this church because, they don't go anywhere because they can, right?
Yeah.
So they get up in the morning, they fold up all their belongings, they come inside all day, and then we close, and they sleep.
They sleep outside.
They say they do it again. But now the conversation is, we can't let that go on because we're going to walk in here after a 28-degree night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be dead on our steps.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing. No. That's the hard. It becomes life or death. Now, their lives are not our responsibility, the way like a doctor would be or something, but you have to stand and watch it. That's hard.
Yeah, when it's like right in front of you every day.
It's hard.
Yeah, that is tough. Wow. Yeah, I'm kind of.
I mean, because that's what it really. I'm not saying you avoid it during the summer, like where you act like you don't see what's going on. Yeah. But it's like that's during the summer, everybody's just enjoying themselves. But when the winter comes, at least for the people around me, I know that's when everybody knows it's like, it's getting cold. You see all these people outside. Now everybody's up in an uproar. Right. Like, let me donate a blanket.
Yeah.
So seeing that every day, and then like you said, that possibility of not seeing them again or seeing them like that.
That's it. And
has to be rough.
Say, okay, so like, the response to that was open this warming station.
Mm-hmm.
So the Allentown Y for the last few years have had a warming station from 7 to 7. And it's just barriers. You have to have an ID.
Yeah.
You can't have any open warrants. Can't be on the sex offender registration list.
Yeah.
And I get all those safety precautions, but that's why people don't go in.
Yeah.
Because it's an interrogation before you can get out the door.
Wow. That's
tough.
So
that's tough.
Especially if let's say you've been through something that is you ended up in jail or something for something that maybe was unfortunate, and now you can't even get warm because of it. It's a little.
If you got robbed yesterday and you don't have your ID,
you
can't sleep there tonight.
And I'm sure that makes it's a lot easier for that situation to happen. You know what I mean?
Yes.
In those situations, yeah. That's just. So it's another topic for another day.
All right. So, how would you overall summarize the Lehigh Valley Conference of Churches? Like,
so I would say that we're a faith-based nonprofit in business for almost 70 years, who do our absolute best to accept, to connect, and to assist people who are really, really in need, because poverty should not be a death sentence.
Sure.
Should not. And so we do our best to teach and to guide and accept and help people move on to their full potential, on to the next thing. Love to put ourselves out of business.
Yeah. This is one of those businesses you would want at some point. Okay, so
it'd be amazing if we never needed a place like this, wouldn't it?
So speaking on that, what is your vision for the future for this company?
That's beautiful. I would love to upgrade the building to accommodate the volume, right? Like 11,000 people last year have come through this building.
Wow.
In a church that's very old, and so I'd love to be able to upgrade the facilities in a way that accommodates people, and when they come in, they can feel special, they can feel greeted, they can feel like, all right, this is a good place for me. I would really love to do that. I'd love to add a few more staff. We have what's called peer support workers and certified peer specialists, and that's people who walked that road before, and they've come out the other side, and they serve as excellent mentors for people who are going through it. I'd love to bring some more of them on. And I'd love some deeper partnerships. So I've been the executive director since 2020, and we stopped doing a handful of things because you should do what you're good at.
Yeah.
And you should leave the rest to somebody else.
I agree.
And so I'd like some stronger partnerships with some people who are really good at doing the rest. I think we could really strengthen those partnerships. And I think we need to raise our voice and be a very loud advocate for people who don't have a voice. And we do that some, but you always can do more.
Yeah, we always can do more.
Yeah.
Like, very understandable. So speaking of, what the main reason we're here, so the Hunger and Homelessness Week, what exactly is that for people who wouldn't know?
I am glad you asked that. So it's a national week. There's like a week of this or a month of that. It's in that same vein. This is a national week of Hunger and Homelessness Awareness, started by a college campus, interestingly enough, couple decades ago. And so this year we decided because sometimes that can get a little extra. So we decided this year that we were going to do one event on every day of the week. So Sunday, we're going out to a bunch of churches and faith-based communities, and we're going to talk about what we do and how they can get involved. Monday, huge. Thank you to DeSales University for hosting us, but we're going to have a community forum from 3 to 5, free of charge. And you're going to come in there and you're going to have a place where you can listen, learn, and give your opinion to try to really wrap your head around this affordable housing crisis we're in. And don't kid yourself, it's a crisis. And we're going to have a seated dinner with keynote speaker, Dr. Matthew Desmond. He's huge. I am just really cannot wait for this moment. He wrote the book Evicted, which for the first time widely, I think, really studied the eviction business. What's in it for landlords, how the system doesn't work, how it's really pinned against the tenant. With some recommendations on how you should change things. And he is at Princeton, and he has what's called the Eviction Lab, and they study eviction rates across the country and try to find their underpinnings and try to help those cities rectify those problems. So cannot wait for him.
Yeah.
That's going to be huge. Let's see. Tuesday we'll be at Sports and Social in the evening, entertaining all those who have invested and donated to this important cause.
No way.
Yeah. Come on down.
Oh no, he'll be there.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there.
Wednesday, we're playing what's called the Game of Rent. So someone locally in the Lehigh Valley took the concept of the game of life, and they made a board game out of the Lehigh Valley. So you pick your career, and it's based on like what average income rates are in our local area, what average housing rates are, and you try to make it around the board by picking your life circumstance. So pretty cool. We'll be doing that Wednesday.
That's awesome.
Thursday, we're having a Faces of Homelessness panel. So we've had 3 people with lived experience, 3 people who either are or have been homeless, and they're going to tell their story. And my real hope there is that the public can really kind of break some of these myths of homelessness. Oh, those people, they don't want to work. They should just get a job. Well, they're just lazy. And it's so much more complex than that.
Yeah.
And so we'll hear from people, some brave souls who are willing to share their story. Maybe we can break down some of that.
And for those, the ones speaking, are those like the success stories? Or are those people that's in between, or maybe like currently homeless, somebody that's in, basically just got housing help, and then somebody who's like fully back on their feet?
All of those things. Yep. Yep.
Amazing.
We got every little section there.
Yeah, because I was wondering that, because I was like, you don't want to put 3 people that's already been through it
right
completely. And
make it realistic. Yeah, that's definitely
realistic is people from all the levels of homelessness. Okay, that's amazing.
That'll be good. And then Friday we're having a prayer vigil here at 457 West Allen Street. We're going to light some candles and ring our bell. And then Saturday into Sunday we'll do One Night Without a Home, where people sleep outside and they raise money to sleep outside and experience sort of in a controlled environment what it would be like to have to sleep outside in the cold.
Yeah.
We have sort of a whole curriculum they can do overnight, videos they can watch, sort of immerse themselves in some new information.
Oh, wow. And that's open to anybody?
Anybody. And all this is on our website, so you can certainly go there and get all the details.
Okay. And what's the website, just for the people watching?
It's LehighChurches.org. So, yeah, check out our social media, check out our website, all that's out there.
Okay. For social media, you guys have an Instagram?
I'm sure we do.
Okay. All right.
I know you have Facebook.
On the website.
Facebook, I know for sure. Yeah.
I know the Instagram as well.
That's, again, my favorite person, Christopher Moran's question.
Okay, gotcha.
Got all that under control.
Before you said you like to be extra. Like, what did you mean by that? Like, for the week?
It's like, so we could be here, and I could serve oatmeal, and I could serve peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and I could serve soup, and I could quietly put my hands in my lap, and we could do our part.
Gotcha.
I'm just not wired that way. We will just take it all down and redo it. Fight City Hall till the end. Not literally. I love City Hall. Shout out downtown. And we will do our absolute best. I will invest my time and energy into all the staff.
Gotcha.
Do that. They report to me, but I work for them.
Okay.
I respect it.
That's important. So, for what are we looking to gain from this week, from doing all this for the week?
That's a good question. I think the primary objective is education. and advocacy.
Yeah.
It's to raise those issues to top of mind.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of these problems feel so big. It's like, how can we possibly do anything? But together we can make some real progress.
I believe that.
That's what I'm hoping to do. I'm hoping to raise the issues in a way that we can actually maybe make a dent.
And then how do you guys go about, you know, getting this kind of, other than just this week, what other things do you guys do throughout the year that gets all this information out to people? Because I feel a lot of people, maybe they might not help or things like that because they don't know.
Right.
They just don't know things. Like, I had no idea this was here until he started working here. So, you know, how do you guys go about getting information other than the social medias? What other things you guys do? And this week, obviously, what other things you guys do throughout the year?
You know, and it's been really interesting because for people who need us, they know it.
Yeah.
Word of mouth travels
Real quick.
Real
It's the place to go.
and that's great. But you know, it's hard because it's not something you think about. It's just not in your daily life.
Yeah, it's not prioritized. Yeah.
It's not. So you know, we have social media, and we have a website, and staff and myself, we're out all the time talking to people, sharing the word. But I mean, the greatest thing you can do if you can't come to an event this week is you can tell 2 people you've heard.
Okay.
I think with our promotion, we're definitely going to make sure more than 2 people know about this for sure.
I love that.
And so what made you guys want to host something like this? Like, you know, this week.
So, I mean, the week is already there, kind of
Yeah.
prefabbed for us to lock onto. So that made it enticing. But the other thing is that I've never seen it like this. I worked here through the housing crisis of 2008 and 9. I've never seen the need like this.
That's saying a lot. It's like a lot.
I can't even find a word for it. And so, you know, to have been doing this work so long and still have it leave me kind of breathless is not good. It's not good. I mean, if you've been to the grocery store lately, you already know.
It's ridiculous.
If you took a rent increase, you already know. I mean, it's and I can't. As hard as we try, nobody can pinpoint this right here is what's driving this.
Yeah.
It's this one thing. I can't. And that makes it worse, you know, because then it becomes even scarier. It's like, well, if you don't know what's causing it, like, how do you even curb it? And all I can do is respond, which is not the best place to be. But I'll say it one more time. I have never seen the need.
Yeah.
Is it hard for you to, you know, when you go home, like, do you turn off your switch? You know what I mean? Like, is it hard for you to do that?
That's a really good question and an important one. I do. Best I can.
Yeah.
And I've gotten into the practice where if I can't get it to switch, I won't go home until it's off.
Gotcha.
So if it takes an extra half an hour to drive in the car, to walk the block, to, I don't know, do whatever. You know, it's really important to know the things that make you happy and that can, and you know, in a healthy way, put you in a good space. And I will actively engage them before I go home.
So I have a follow-up question for that. So I know there's people have certain jobs where you're emotionally involved. So do you have those days where it maybe feels like it's gotten to you real deep to where it's like I need to step away or, like you said, go do something, like drive a little half hour? Do you have those days where it's like a little too much? Maybe you might see something or...
Yes. Yeah, I absolutely do. And, you know, just God bless my family because they understand. I have 3 kids, 2 teenagers and sort of a grade school and a husband. And they'll see it. And I'll say, look, guys, I don't have it today. Today was real bad. And they'll be inquired about the human struggle. And of course, I share it in an appropriate way. And we'll talk about that because I think it's important for them to understand the work that I do. And I'll just simply say, like, I don't have it today, guys.
Yeah.
Can it be takeout? Can you help each other with your homework? And we'll try again tomorrow. And they respect that. God bless. So
That's amazing.
Shout out to them kids.
And the husband too. Oh, that's amazing. So on a daily, what is the toughest thing you deal with, like when it comes to all this? Because are you basically the head of this?
yes.
Okay, so what is
So
the
you
toughest?
guys, yeah, go ahead.
What's the
Sorry.
toughest thing you deal with? Because you have workers doing most of it. But and I know you said you like to put your boots on the ground sometimes.
Yes.
But like on a day to day when you come into this office, what is the toughest thing that you personally have to deal with this job?
So I think I want to answer first what I worry about the most.
Okay. Yeah,
And I know that's
you
not
can take it anywhere you want. Yeah, anywhere you
So
want.
I worry about my staff's continued ability to look at human depravity in the eye and still be able to keep going. I worry about that a lot. And so we go out of our way to make this place relaxed, loud, sort of full of appreciation weeks, and we, run weird contests where somebody gets a day off out of a hat just for no particular reason at all. And I worry about that a lot. I also worry about their safety. We are in a rather active part of the city. There's been 3 shootings on the next block in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
All in broad daylight. All while we were here. And there's been shootings beyond that when we were not here. And so I worry about their safety. So those are my worries. The hardest thing I have to do, and it feels like a boulder up the mountain type of hard, is to push our agenda through the static so that we can remember what's important.
Yeah.
And that's whoever my audience of the day is. That's funders, that's partners, that's elected officials. That's like, hear me, like focus with me. We need to do this thing, push it. And that's the hardest thing I do. I think. That's the hard. I mean, in a, I don't want to reduce it to money, but investing in poor people, you don't get a big return on your.
Yeah, you don't.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to really convince people that this is so damn important.
Yeah.
It's the humans.
Yeah, definitely.
What is without trying to highlight the negative, like you said with the shootings and stuff like that, what is still the importance of keeping what you're doing right here, even though like you said, all the static is going on around it? What's the importance of keeping this business right here for you?
I mean, it's important in a way, like what happens to those 11,000 people? We're not here.
Yeah. But I mean, like you can go towards maybe 19th Street, 15th, a little quote unquote safer, but you keep it right here.
We keep it right here. When the neighborhood improvement zone really worked to put Allentown through this renaissance, got displaced and they got pushed out.
Yeah.
So we went to where the work is.
Yeah.
And, this Allentown's broken into wards. So we're in this ward. We sort of border like the 4th and the 1st and the 6th ward. There, it's a desert of services.
Yeah.
So you're talking about low income neighborhoods without a lot of resources. And so we're here, and we've had some feedback from the police that we have actually improved the neighborhood.
Oh yeah.
Because they get less calls.
Yeah.
And it's not that we're monitoring anything. But people find a new place to go and they find a different thing to do.
Yeah.
And a huge shout out. The Allentown police have been so good to us, and I have to say that. I know that they're not that experience for everyone, and I totally recognize and appreciate that.
Yeah.
But they are here when we need them.
Yeah, that's amazing. Shout out to them.
Yeah. Hey,
For doing what they can.
Exactly.
When they're needed is a good thing.
That's all we need to hear.
Yeah, what they can do.
They get it.
Yeah.
Most.
No, that's good. All right. So, let's talk about some positive things.
Yes.
What is like, your greatest, one of your greatest memories of doing what you do? If anything that's, gets you throughout the day, let's say having a tough day. So one thing you might recall back to, or even if you want to go in a way of, something day to day, like you just love seeing people, with a smile on their face after their meal, or, interacting with the different people coming in.
That's a good question. There was, there's a woman, we'll call her Jane, who's been coming here on and off for years and years. And, she embraces the street lifestyle. It's a lot of the hustle. It's just her lifestyle. And she's been like that a very long time. And she came in here this year, and for the first time in her life, in her 30 plus, almost 40-year life, said, "I'm ready to go to rehab. Can you help me get there?"
Yeah.
That's huge. That's huge. There's there was an event in Stevens Park over the weekend to encourage people to vote, and there's a woman there who's been coming here forever, and she said, "I got an apartment, my meds are working, I get my kids back this January." And man, I mean, that must have taken her 8-10 years, but she never gave up. She had 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. And, to see her face, she was there. She made it.
That's amazing. Yeah.
You have to,
Take the little things. That's amazing. Yeah.
take those.
Yeah, that's amazing. I like that. I did want to end it on that, but I do have one more question. When it comes to, because it's very important. When it comes to COVID, when COVID was happening, how did you guys get through that time?
So we kept our food service going. We paid them sort of disaster rates, if you will. Yeah. I don't know how else to explain that. We kept our service going to go. Nobody could come in, but we still handed out the food and the toiletries and all that sort of essential, life-saving type of stuff. We did all our case management by phone.
Okay.
And we worked remotely. And then when we opened up a little bit, we had we divided the staff into 3, and we would rotate them. So only 1/3 of the staff would be in the building at a time.
Okay.
And, we hold clinics and vaccination clinics and info sessions for people. But yeah, we didn't lay anybody off.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah.
There's no excuse. No excuses for people. There's no excuse.
Yeah.
We don't make widgets, so I don't know. People need us to do something different.
Okay, so my last question is: do you have anything else that you would want information for people that's watching? That we didn't cover.
Sure.
With our questions, or especially about this week.
So for this week, we try to make it so that you could participate in person or remotely, and some of that stuff will be left over as time goes. So if next week you're like, oh, I'm just jammed, just check back, because a lot of it will be there for you to review. And there's always an opportunity to get involved if you look for it. People are always hungry. A lot of times it's kids, and there is homelessness, and it's hidden, but it's there. And so the best thing that people can do is to put themselves in a sort of a curiosity frame of mind. They just want to open their eyes and their heart, and they want to see, and they want to understand. And what you do with that information from there, there's a million ways. But I think it needs to start not from a place of judgment or fear, but it needs to start from a place of curiosity. So you can come this week and learn something, awesome. If not, look for it. And don't be so quick to decide that you know what you're looking at.
Beautiful. That's beautiful.
Perfect way to end it. Okay, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate it. This is our second installment of Have You Heard? And this is Hunger and Homeless Week.
Yep.
So go to the website. What other ways can they reach the website, the Instagram, the Facebook, for any other information if they need to reach you guys? And
come to the door. We come right here to the address.
And please donate. If there's any way you can donate, even the smallest amount, please go out of your way and donate. So thank you so much, Abby.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you again, Abby. We appreciate it.
Amazing. Hopefully we can do something to help you guys.
Yes,
what you're doing. Yeah, because we love what you guys are doing. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Abby.
Right.